Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. And good afternoon, Honourable Minister. So, Mr. Mchunu, I'm really struggling to understand what all this fuss is about. None of this information is new. I put this to General Masemola as well. None of this is new. We've all known about corruption in the police for years, 10 years, more, 14, 15 years. We know the police are corrupt, largely. We know they're very good policemen who go to work every day and do their very best. And we're very grateful for them. But we know that there's rife corruption in the police. Everyone knows. So this is nothing new. And the things mentioned by General Mkhwanazi at his press conference, while they're deeply concerning, are also nothing new. He packaged them in one afternoon, but they're nothing new. We've known all of that information has been around for ages. So what is this fuss about? Why the press conference? Why all of this? Can you tell me?
That's, thank you very much. That's exactly one of the intriguing questions that we have to grapple with, both internally in SAPS, but also in Parliament in general, in the whole public. That there are things that are refusing or resisting to change. For instance, there's a perception out there, I don't want to lie, that SAPS is corrupt, there is corruption in SAPS. That is persisting. There's corruption in SAPS. The perception that says crime is not under control. And I've always said, yes, crime may not be under control or is not under control, neither is it out of control. But there's a concern there, running general. And I did, in my interactions with police, say there are the character of crime in the country is also featuring certain specific geographical areas in each province, known people or groupings of people, as an ongoing characterization of criminality in South Africa. And that I'm worried about that, and I don't think that we can't overcome that. But I would say it in response directly. On the side of crime and corruption, maybe pointed at, but within SAPS, let us wait until this ad hoc committee finishes its work or completes its work, until Madanga also completes their work, to have a full spectrum or a fuller spectrum of the extent of what we see now in reality. And I believe that we'll see a particular extent, and we'll then be able to say, let's then apply our mind to say, what do we do with all of this in terms of extent and depth? But it's a concern. It's concerning. There's hardly a day you hear when there's hardly a day that passes without you hearing of this corruption or not corruption, that omission or not, and so on. So, if you are sharing a concern with me, I'm sharing also. I'm saying that I share that concern. And at some point, maybe this time around, we need to bring or minimize these concerns substantially. Otherwise, it can't be a permanent perception and a permanent feature that people have these problems and concerns around South African Police Service.
Thank you, Minister. Well, you see, that's part of the problem. Part of what I'm asking you is really, why now? We've known about this for more than 10 years. I've known about it, you've known about it, everybody in this room has known about it. And only people who don't know about it are people who clearly live under a rock. And so it can't be the job of South Africans, it can't be the job of this committee, it can't be the job of the Madlanga Commission to tell you, and in fairness, you're a new appointment, but you're the minister, you must take the heat, to tell you and the senior management of the South African police how to deal with crime or what the problems are. Why don't you know it? Why does your management not know it? Why is there no discipline in the South African police service? Why is crime intelligence such an inordinate, absolute mess? And why hasn't it been fixed? We wouldn't be here if this had been addressed when it should have been addressed. And why hasn't it been? That's really my question.
Well, I believe that everything has its own time. Maybe we must agree as a country that it is time we all set about correcting the wrongs. Because the problem with asking an open question like that is that not only are we adults here, but we are leadership of the country, or part of leadership of the country. If people get to know that we are asking what they are asking, they will lose confidence in us, and we shouldn't make it easy, and we should make it possible for people to lose confidence in us. This is Parliament, and there are other institutions. We may seemingly look like we are fighting here because there are questions and answers. But I want to believe that above it all, in the upper part of our brains, all of us here, we're concerned about our country. We want these wrongs to be corrected in a manner that is correct, so that at the end of the day, we have South African police that all of us are proud of. All of us are proud of, and I believe that it is possible. It can be done. We just need inner resolve. We need to do things differently. And I believe that part of what I tried to do up until getting to leave, we're trying to grapple with some of the root causes and the root problems in SAPS, instead of just accepting what is there. We set ourselves a target to say, let's change this. This is changeable. For instance, even though, crimes like are being perpetuated in the 4 provinces are in part a reflection of the problems that the country is undergoing via suppressed economic growth or slow economic growth, and therefore people turning this and that. But the majority of the people in South Africa are law-abiding. They are good people, even as unemployed as that.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Minister. I've got limited time.
Just a moment, Honorable Breytenbach. If when you speak, on the screen we see there is a tag behind you which is giving you a spirited competition. There is a tag behind you to your left.
Everybody knows what party I'm from. I have no difficulty with the tag behind me. Yeah, if anyone thinks I'm from El Jamar, then they're also living under a rock.
You can proceed. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. And if you are comfortable with it,
I'm very comfortable. Everybody in the whole world knows I'm not from El Jamar, nor will I ever be. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Minister. I have limited time. And so I don't want to enter into a discussion with you. Maybe at another time it would be interesting, but today I want you to answer my questions, please. And I want you to do so concisely.
Okay.
So please listen to the question and answer the question, and only the question. We can have a discussion at another time. I'd be very happy to do that.
Okay.
So I want to know from you why the South African police is in the state it's in. No discipline, no authority, generally speaking. I'm not disputing that there are policemen who do their job. There are. I'm not disputing that the majority of policemen are quite likely good, honest people who go to work every day and do their best. But generally speaking, there's a serious problem with corruption in the police. There's a serious problem with a lack of discipline. There's a serious problem with lack of authority, and crime intelligence can only be described as an unmitigated mess. And I want to know why this hasn't been addressed in the last decade and a bit. I don't want to know about how we all feel. I think we all know how we all feel. And I just want to tell you that if you think most South Africans have got confidence in the South African Police Service, you're wrong. And if you think most South Africans think crime is under control, you're wrong.
Well, I don't have a straight answer why it has been like this for the number of years that you're talking about. What I know and what I'm determined to do is to play my role in what I share in part or wholly with you, that there are concerning matters within SAPS and they need to be addressed, and they need to be addressed soonest without any delay. That I regard as my answer, and that it requires a lot of determination to do that.
What have you done since your appointment to do it?
Pardon?
What have you done since your appointment to achieve that?
Now, the first thing, or part of what we have done, is to insist that this is an organization, and it has the trust among the people in terms of its responsibility, whether it is performed or not. But people look at it as a solution to a lot of their problems on crime. And two of the things that I believe stand out in what we've done, we felt that SAPS require a kind of a workshop that we held so that we can look at some of the conditions of work, because if people are frustrated, if people are not answered, are not responded to on this and that, they won't be happy and they won't perform. We did that. And my impression was that people recognize that, and they are prepared to pick up right from the systems at police stations to other things that would make them enjoy their work while they are at work in all manner of things. We then called the summit to endorse that, and we've begun to implement that since we got appointed. We have gone to districts with an insistence that a police station must be regarded as something very important. And we were on our way to doing so, because my sense was that we don't have a high regard in terms of the value of a police station, other than just generalizing.
You're starting to have a discussion again. Please stick to the question.
Pardon?
You're starting to have a discussion again. Please stick to the question. And
Yes.
when you refer to we, are you referring to yourself? Are you using the royal we? Or
Yes.
is it just you?
Yes, I'm referring to us as ministry and top management.
I see. Okay.
So those are some of the things that we've started doing and emphasizing. That let's do the work, let's make sure that all the units are able to do their work, and then we restructure. We're in the process of restructure. I was quite happy with the outcome of our engagement. Like I said, the creation of a new division, like I said, the implementation of the new structure was promising to me, because those were practical things that you realize, if implemented, would be able to deal with some of the problems that we have. Because at the center of everything is when people feel safer and safer, instead of them feeling more and more vulnerable, which I believe was the trend that we needed to cut.
You said earlier today that you have the telephone number of Mr. Brown Mkhotsi on your telephone.
That I have the cell phone number, yes.
Why?
It's because I've known him from 2017 and I've been using that number.
Why have you known him since 2017? And what do you use the number for?
Why didn't I?
Why have you known him since 2017? And what do you use the number for?
No, we're just talking.
About what?
Look, let me explain, Brown Mkhutsi. To me, there are more and more things that are coming out that I didn't know about Brown Mkhutsi. I knew him just like I got to know you. Nothing else, just know you as a member of parliament. Then we go on. And then in the course of time, especially recently, I got to know things that I never got to know when there were no current problems. And which then put that question to say, so why would Brown say he's at Lusisi with me and create that impression when it's not? Why would he take a posture that whatever he says to other third parties, it is because he has had a discussion with me and so on?
Minister, that's not what I asked you. You must please listen more carefully to the questions, and it will get done so much more quickly. I asked, what do you talk to him about? Why do you need to use his cell phone number? Not about what he says about you. I'm not interested in what he says about you.
That is part of my answer. That's part of my answer. But I can go on to say we speak about ANC-related matters with him. But I know he likes throwing a lot of other things that have nothing to do with the ANC. That's when I normally don't answer him, or all the time don't answer him.
Okay. And you communicate with him on Signal, you said, amongst other things. WhatsApp and Signal.
That I do what?
You communicate with him on WhatsApp and Signal, you said.
Yes, because he said he has it and I have it.
Yes. So normally people communicate on Signal when they want to be sure that nobody else can read their correspondence. So what are you talking to him about that you're trying to hide?
Same matters, there's nothing more.
So this issue between General Mkhwanazi and yourself and Masemola and Sibiya, this is just a factional battle in the South African Police Service. Is that what we must accept? It's a battle for power. The head of the Hawks position is becoming available, or is available. Masemola is due to retire soon. Is this a factional battle? Have we been called here to sit here for days and hours on end to deal with a factional battle in the South African police?
Well, what has happened, which I know, is that when I issued directives, my view is that General Mkhwanazi took a personal stand against what I did for his own reasons. That's why, among other things, even when General Kumal and others got arrested, Chief of Staff told me that he sent a message that gloves are off. As far as I'm concerned, the earlier response to what I'd done was personal, very, very personal. He took matters personal rather than as a police officer who would then engage openly. That's why there would be things like if he's clean and so on and all of those things. And when General Khumalo gets arrested, he then say, Chief of Staff must inform me that that gloves are off now. So in my view, all that has happened, the trigger on these matters that we find ourselves on here, the trigger is the directives. That's the first trigger. The second trigger is the arrest, where General Mkhwanazi kind of take a personal posture into matters of subs, which are not necessarily his personal, is part of that.
Yes, of course, he's got a job to do. Do you think that you are entitled, in terms of the prevailing legislation, to give the directive that you gave? Do you think that as minister you have that authority? Or do you think that you've overstepped the mark?
I have not exceeded the mark. I would not have done that if I ever thought that I would be operating or may be operating outside legislation. I have never done so in the past. All my portfolios that I got deployed to,
It's
I've
fine,
never
you've
done
answered
so.
the question.
Yes.
Thank you. Did you discuss issuing this directive with Advocate Pikoli?
Yes, I did discuss with him. I didn't discuss him that I intend to. I said, here is the letter. This is what is contained here. Please comment. And he did comment, and then I proceeded.
What was his comment?
Well, his response was to correct certain matters. I can't remember this and that, but generally, part of the comment was that you are within the law, you are within the Constitution. It did make that comment.
Fine. Now, General Masemola has taken exception to your directive. He ostensibly gives effect to it, but in fact, as you call it, the National Political Killings Task Team is still functioning, according to General Masemola. So he has, in fact, disobeyed you.
I can't get your question clearly.
General Masemola says that, A, he thinks that you can't give him this directive,
Oh, yes.
but he regards you as his boss, which I find horrific. And he will give effect to your instructions, but he has not done so. The task team has not been closed down. So what are you going to do about that?
Well, that took me aback. I was taken aback when National Commissioner spoke like that, because it means that it would have meant that, or it meant that, on one hand he agreed, on the other he didn't agree. When he sent the letter from his office, or when his office sent the letter on the 3rd, when he made the presentation, when he wrote to me on the 22nd, when he made the presentation or okayed the presentation on the 5th and the 6th, what I understood him to be doing was that we were in agreement that we have to wrap. I had no other hidden side or feeling that, in fact, he was not, were not together on the matter. He had not done that before.
The question, Minister, was what are you going to do about it? This other long story is interesting, but it's inappropriate. What are you going to do about it?
Well, I'm on leave at the moment.
The country is faced with what they regard as a national crisis. We're sitting here day in and day out, and you're on leave. The minister's on leave, and that's more important.
I didn't impose leave on myself. I am on leave. That is the fact of the matter.
Are you on special leave?
Yes, I'm on special leave. Thank you for that.
I see. So the hopes that we have of getting somewhere with this whole debacle, it's clear that we're not going to get anywhere with it.
That?
We're not going to get anywhere. The police are not going to be fixed. You're on leave. Masemola is on leave. Sabia is on suspension. Everyone's on leave or on holiday or suspended. And nothing's going to happen. And what must we do with all of this? The top structure of South African police are either on leave or in bed.
If I had my way, I wouldn't be on leave. I wouldn't even be here doing what I'm doing. I would be proceeding with the work that we're expected to do in subs so that people feel safer. So once these matters are aside and the President decides on post these commissions, then we are awkward at the moment, and things are not the way they should be, like being on leave and so on. But as I say, my wish is that I was carrying on with the work, implementing the structure and fighting crime
If
together
we're going
with
to
the
be
police.
waiting for the President, Minister, then we all know that we're going to be waiting a very long time. But you talk about people feeling safe. I just want to tell you this, that this afternoon, there was a mass shooting in Westbury in Johannesburg. 2 people are dead, and many children were injured, some of them critically. Nobody feels safe. And how does that make you feel?
It's a sad matter to get those news. And in police in South Africa, together with ministry, I know that you grapple with issues on your conscience that had you done this, possibly, this would not have happened. And it haunts you all the time. And therefore, I feel sorry and sad for what you are putting across. But the main thing is the sooner we get over this, the better. And there are more other ugly incidents that have happened as well. And all of them, those that are said, we feel they are a letdown to the country.
Let me tell you what I think the problem is with the police, Minister, and then you can comment on it. When General Masemola was here, he is the only general in the South African Police Service. Everybody else is a Major General, Lieutenant General. He's the only general in the South African Police Service. He's the head of the South African Police Service. He walked out of the room we were sitting in at the Good Hope Chamber to go and chat to some of the police who were sitting around there. I don't know what they were doing. There seemed to be an inordinate amount of police sitting around not knowing what they're doing. While everyone is here. He walked over to a group of policemen. I'm not sure what their ranks were, but they certainly weren't anything close to his. One was draped across a chair. One was sitting on the table. One was leaning against the wall. And when the only general in the South African police approached them, not one of them even stood up straight, let alone came to attention. Now, what do you make of that lack of discipline, lack of authority? There was no reaction from General Masemola. He accepted their disrespect without even batting an eyelid.
Well, I listened to you when you were speaking to him about who is the boss and all of that. But what I felt was that there's no inclusion of boss in the Constitution and all of that in the legislation, in the legislative framework. But this is to say, General Masemola is the only general, as you say. I agree with that. And he has authority. And that authority is there to be exercised, well, with the assistance of others, including ministry and so on. I believe that there's a lot to do to improve performance, quite a lot. And it can be done, because if it is not done, if this is the climax, if this is the best and this is the only thing, then it would mean that we do have a problem, or South Africa does have a problem. So there's room, from where I sit, to do quite a lot of improvements. And we have pointed some of those out to General Masemola.
You mentioned, it may have been yesterday, all these days morph into one, it feels like a lifetime, about a particular clip on the tape that you referred to that demonstrated that you were in fact threatened. Now, you haven't been able to produce that. Why not?
No, I have explained. You may not take the explanation. General Mchunu had a conversation with Chief of Staff on the 2nd of January. And one of the things they spoke about was to say that if minister is clean while he was premier and so on, so he can go on with the directives.
I know what he said. I want to know why you can't identify where it is on the tape so that we can hear it.
No, at that time, he had not started recording. He only started when they continued with the conversation in other days, like on the 3rd, on the 4th, and on the 5th, but not on the 2nd.
Thank you, Chair. I'm done.
There is something that you must clarify, Honorable Minister.